Buddy, this is Mr. Marshall here at Stony Lane. I have a book for you today, and it's by Kate Banks and Galia Bernstein. It's called Lost and Found. I hope you like it. Look at this beautiful end paper. Lost and Found. The wood mouse and the rabbit raced around the big bend in the forest. What's that? Said the wood mouse, stopping short in her tracks. On a moss covered mound lay a rag doll. The rabbit moved closer to the doll and sniffed. See, here's the rag doll. He knew the fresh, sweet fragrance of the forest after the rain and the scent of wild honeysuckle floating on the breeze. But the rabbit didn't know this smell. All right, that makes sense because why would a rabbit know what a rag doll smelled like in the woods, right? The otter poked her head out of her burrow. She placed a paw on the rag doll's hair. What is it? The otter asked. She knew the feel of the rough, ragged tree roots and the soft, silky heads of the pussy willows by the river, but she didn't know this. The other forest animals gathered for a look. It doesn't have a tail, said the hedgehog. Or a wet nose, said the white-tailed deer. And it doesn't like nuts, said the squirrel. Well, along came the beaver, who knew the sound of water washing over the dam and the whine of the wayward wind. What's that? He asked, and he spotted as he spotted the rag doll. We don't know, replied the rabbit. We don't know. Well, I don't know either, said the beaver, but I do know what those are. The beaver pointed to a patch of footprints away from the doll. Let's follow them. Do you see the footprints? The animals wove in and out of the shady glade and under the canopy of the oak trees. They kept on going until they came to a meadow. They had never been out of the forest before, and it was a little frightening, but they were curious. What do you think they're going to find? Whose footprints are those? Before them was a wide stretch of gray. What's that? Asked the squirrel. The animals knew the forest trails thickly carpeted with leaves and the rounded path of the moon across the sky. But they'd never seen a road. Can you imagine that? These animals have never seen a road. So that's like really, really strange to them, right? Just like something might be strange to you and me that we've never seen, right? But we've seen roads, but they haven't. Must have been an exciting or scary thing for them. They cautiously crossed it, and on the other side was a house. What's that? Asked the wood mouse. The animals had seen eagles' matted nest in the den of the hibernating bear, but they'd never seen a home like this. Just imagine how strange that was to them. Suddenly, the door of the house flew open and a child ran into the yard. See that? The child looked familiar. It had brownish hair and dark eyes. It was wrapped in a soft colored cloth. Is that it? Said the wood mouse. Maybe, said the rabbit. I think so, said the squirrel. Without a doubt, cried the beaver. And when the child returned to the house, the animals tiptoed into the yard and placed the rag doll on the swing. Then they scurried back to the deep forest, where they went about their business. But the next evening, when the moon appeared, the animals scampered to the edge of the forest again. Take a look. Across the wide gray road, in the window of the house, shone a bright light. Look at that. What's that? Said the rabbit. It shines. But it's not a star, said the hedgehog. They crept across the yard and right up to the lit window. Inside, the child was curled up in the bed with the rag doll reading a book. The child patted the doll's head and kissed its cheek. I know what that is, said the rabbit, who knew the warmth of his mother's soft fur. So do I, said the woodmouse, remembering the sound of her mother's heartbeat. Me too, said the otter, who thought of her brothers tucked tightly in their burrow. I remember, said the squirrel, imagining the gentle touch of his father's paw. Yes, said the hedgehog, who finally recalled sharing a meal with a friend. I know too, said the beaver, looking at his dear companions, while the white-tailed deer smiled in agreement. They had never seen a rag doll, a road, a house, a child, or a lit window. But they all knew what love was. And that is the end. I hope you enjoyed that story. I did. I'll see you next time.